Today, newly elected council members take on or renew the responsibility to exercise leadership and to take the risks associated with that leadership, to guide Newcastle County in the right direction, with a commitment to provide leadership with the very best information and independent judgments, not influenced by the politics of the situation, but truly real, objective information that can be presented as truth and withstand scrutiny. Performing the job with integrity, dignity, and with respect for the laws and for the state and national constitutions that we are all pledged to uphold. Serving as part of a team to make sure that we are sharing and bringing important information together and that we are not competing with one another, but working as a team, presenting our best work for the people of Newcastle County. For it is only through our joint commitment to service that we can best overcome the many challenges before us in the coming years and take advantage of the many possibilities always present in every challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct honor and my great privilege to present to all of you President Judge Jan Jurgen, Superior Court of the State of Delaware, Judge Jerome Herlihy, Superior Court of the State of Delaware, and Judge Natalie Haskins, Family Court of the State of Delaware, who will swear in those council members elected to represent Newcastle County for the next 4 years. President Judge Jan R. Jurgen, Superior Court of the State of Delaware, and Kenneth Woods, First District, please come forward. You will also bring your witness.
I've learned a lot in the last 2 years, and right now this will be the best chance for me to start working with the council and bringing some legislative action forward on things that I want to see. A little bit more transparency and letting people know what the county actually does. A lot of people get us confused with the state, and that's my biggest goal, is to at least make my constituents aware of what we really do out there and how we can help them and do better things. What does it mean to me? Well, it means a lot of things, but the biggest thing is that the residents of Newcastle County entrusted me to be their voice. You know, I come from a working class family, and jobs, I mean, that's a big thing. Jobs, you know, we need to bring different things in here to build our infrastructure. You know, we need different companies and different ways to help working class family.
First of all, I'd like to thank the County Council staff for putting this all together. Nellie, Tara, Jim, and the rest of the staff. They've done a terrific job, and it shows here today. I want to thank the Honorable Judge Jordan for taking the time out of her busy schedule to swear me in as the first councilman for the second time. Hopefully, Judge, I hope we can keep this going for many years to come. But most importantly, I want to thank the citizens of Newcastle County's First District for giving me the opportunity to continue to serve them for another 4 years. My office will continue to fight for the constituents in Newcastle County, no matter what district they are from. Our office door is always open, and will help in whatever capacity we can. It wouldn't be a swearing in without thanking the wonderful people who have worked so hard to help me win my re-election. Some of them are here tonight, my friends of labor, the Delaware Building Trades, and the many elected officials, friends, and family, especially my own local, the sheet metal workers. Without all of you, I couldn't have done it. I want to especially thank my team, both Brian's, Nello, Timmy, and Jeff, and Howard, who all tried to keep me on track, and believe me, that was very hard for them to do when all I was trying to do was micromanage everything that they did. So I want to thank my family and friends who are also in attendance tonight. They have all had some influence on my life and made me who I am today. My father, Bob, whose footsteps I followed as a union leader or giving back to the community on this very county council. I also couldn't be where I am today without my mother, my brother, my mother Barbara, my sister Tracy, and her family, and my daughter Stephanie, my daughter Stephanie, my son-in-law Josh, and my newest addition, my granddaughter Caroline, who we were pleased to have here tonight. she wouldn't make it, but she did great. Plus the entire Woods family and the Scarpone family, who have been terrific and helped support me through all this. Now, there are two other people that I really can't forget, and to one is my aide and second mother, Chrissy Roberts, who is my left arm and makes this job easier for me and my constituents. Please give her a round of applause, because she does it all. The second person I really need to thank is my girlfriend, Joanna, who's had to really put up with so much crap for me that she deserves an Angel Award. But everyone in this room knows that what it's like to be an elected official and bring all your frustration home and take it out on your loved ones. It's really trying. But she's been there through thick and thin for me, and I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to say to her, I love you, and I love the rest of my family and everyone else, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Councilman Woods. Next, will Judge Jan Jurgen come up, and Dee Durham, as well as your witness.
I've been involved in a lot of policy work, obviously from the other side of the desk, but it always feels great when you can have legislation passed that achieves a goal that you have in mind. And I mean, that's one reason why I ran, is so that I can do more. And you know, I always thought that if there was a good opportunity that made sense to run, that it would help me. Just, you know, my lifelong goal is to just leave the world a better place than I found it, which may sound cliche, but it's true. And that's why I'm dedicated to conservation and open space preservation and preserving our community's heritage. I just want to do the best job I can representing the community and try to accomplish more than I could as a citizen, maybe. Okay, well, thank you all. Also, I'll echo Ken's statement, just thanking you all for being here tonight. Democracy is not a spectator sport, even at the local level. I would argue, especially at the local level. Following what is going on in DC can be captivating, and people can get passionate even about what's going on down in Dover. But I would argue that at the county level, decisions are being made, such as in land use and other things, which significantly affect citizens, their quality of life, and our communities for years to come, sometimes irreparably, for better or worse. My being here tonight represents the fact that the grassroots local community spoke up for what it cares about, the protection of community character, its open space, its historic resources, and the environment. For me, these things are not things we work on just in election years, but I hope to work on them with all of you together over the next 4 years. Accomplishing positive changes in these areas is a demanding participatory endeavor in which we all need to partake in order to guarantee a bright future for our children and their children, and for the natural world of which we are all a part. For better or worse, the actions of a few have the potential to change our community and our state. So I look forward to working with all of you over the next 4 years. I would like to give special thanks to all of my team members who are here tonight, and who did not sit it out this year, but definitely were participants in the process of getting me here and having a voice here at the County Council for the next 4 years. I most especially want to thank my husband, Barry, and my son, Ryan. Our daughter, Lauren, could not be with us tonight. She's away, a freshman in college. But there's so many more people that were involved and helped me out throughout the whole year. I can't thank them all, but just conclude by saying that I look forward to continuing to work with all of you over the next 4 years and to serving the residents of the 2nd District to the very, very best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Durham. Next we have Judge Herlihy and Janet Kilpatrick.
It's a proud moment. It's a humbling moment that, you know, you take thousands and thousands of people that come out to vote, and they think enough of you as a person to put you back in office to serve them. So whether you have an opponent or not, it still takes votes to get in the office. And if you don't have an opponent, it's a lot easier. Then you have the ability to help those who you know have worked with you over the years of being on council. There's probably not a lot of people out there that understand what we do, nor have a tremendous interest in what we do until we get to something that's right in their backyard. And then, as you can tell from some of the speeches, there are people that are very interested in what is going to go on within their districts, as we all are. Thank you so much all for coming today. This is a day where I am extremely humbled by the fact that the people of the 3rd District again voted to put me in this office. It's very hard for me to stand here and try to, or even on the campaign trail, to try to sell myself, because I don't necessarily feel that this is about me. This is about a group effort. And I think for the most part on this council, we do that very well. I want to thank the judges for taking time out of their schedule to come in and swear us in tonight. Thank you very much. For those who do not know my husband, his name is Vince Lofink, and he probably is the one that got me in this office to begin with. We moved back into the 3rd District and the vacancy came up, and he pushed a little to get me. This was not something that I ever envisioned doing, but through his pushing and his helping and being close to divorce in every campaign cycle, we made it through, and we continue to live happily together. He is an instructor at Wilmington University. He teaches public policy, so I can tell you that I get my daily lectures. You should join us at dinner sometime. I get my daily lectures on what public policy really is, and that it means that it is on behalf of the whole and not any one individual or group. I want to thank all of our staff. I have had 2 staff aides since I've been here, Nellie Hill and Anthony DeFeary, both who have been absolutely wonderful in helping me maintain status quo in this district and to grow this district in our pride. All of our staff, I started as staff with the General Assembly, so I understand what it takes to be a staff person, to be the face of the elected official, and to carry their message forward, even if they don't always agree with me. And they've both been very good in talking when they don't agree with something that I'm thinking that I should be doing, or maybe we all should be doing, and keeping me balanced, keeping me grounded in coming out with the best of all ideas when we all are able to have those kinds of conversations. I see many in the administration here, county executive and his executive office. Many of them are here, and I want to thank them. We do a decent amount of out-of-the-box thinking here, and they have been very collegial through these past 2 years in working with us to see if some of the things that we envision can actually be done. We have taken many, many staff hours from the executive side to work through issues with us. So I thank them all for being here, as well as all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Next, Judge Natalie J. Haskins and Councilmember Penrose Hollins, please come forward. Good evening.
It's really an opportunity that I'm very grateful for to continue serving the residents of Newcastle County. It is a privilege, and I see it as such. I don't think anyone takes elections lightly. Anyone who gets elected works very hard to be elected. There's a lot expected from elected officials, and rightfully so. I think that the opportunities here in Newcastle County are unlimited, and I'm just so pleased to be a part of that. The role of government is to lift people up, some of what I said earlier tonight, and there are so many ways we can do that, and we still have a number of residents who live here in Newcastle County that have not reached their potential, and to the extent that we can assist them in reaching their potential, I think that's our primary role, and it comes in a lot of different ways. We have a lot of old challenges that we need to work on, and we also have new challenges in Newcastle County when you look no further than the opioid crisis that's going on here. So it's going to take a lot of resources and a lot of creative thinking to also address that problem, which is a relatively new problem.
Good evening. I want to thank Judge Natalie Haskins for administering the oath of office, and I thank my daughter Joy for being a witness again and being here. I can always count on my daughter every time I'm getting ready to go into another campaign, and she always says, "How long are you going to keep doing that?" But I do want to thank her for being here along with my son-in-law, Isaac. Also, there are some folk here that I have to acknowledge and appreciate, because not for them, I would not be here myself. I have a campaign and have people here that have supported me during that campaign. This is the first time in all of the years I've served on the county council where I had volunteers to make calls, and I had constituents to call me to say how professional the volunteers were that called them, asking them to support my campaign. So I'm very grateful to the work that they have done. My first campaign for public office was back in 1980. I ran for a seat on the Wilmington City Council. 1980 was a long time ago. I won that election by 10 votes. This last election, there's a couple of folk here that were with me back in 1980 when I first ran for the city council. And I would have to recognize Al Washington, who's here, who was my first campaign manager back in 1980. He's here with his wife, Dalva. Dolores Tatman is another person who was with me in my basement in 1980. And she's here tonight. That's a very long time to have folk to support you in your quest to serve the public. My aide is also here, Nakai Trailer, who makes certain that she is the interface for the public and makes certain that she argues with me every single chance she gets. Nakai Trailer is also here. On November 6, Delaware voters, along with millions of Americans, came out and participated in the greatest privilege we all have. They used their most powerful voice, the right to vote. The ballots have been verified, at least here in Delaware. I grew up, as some of my colleagues know, in Palm Beach County, Florida. The last I heard, they're still counting. But I am honored to stand here before you as your reinstated member of the Newcastle County Council. I am grateful for the opportunity to continue the important work of ensuring that every family in Newcastle County has access to building wealth through home ownership and enhancing their knowledge through greater library services. Tip O'Neill was a Massachusetts Democrat who represented Northern Boston in Congress from 1953 to 1987. He served as the 47th Speaker of the House for 5 consecutive Congresses from 1977 to 1987. But Tip O'Neill lost his first political campaign for a seat on the Cambridge City Council, which was his only electoral defeat. But the campaign taught him the lesson that became his best-known quote: "All politics is local." Today, we are living in a moment of intense spasms of hatred flamed by divisive and heated political rhetoric. But hate cannot conquer hate. Only love can conquer hate. Darkness cannot conquer darkness. Only light can conquer darkness. We will certainly have our differences here on Newcastle County, differences of opinion. But if all 13 of us thought alike, then maybe 12 of us need to go home. But we should all strive to avoid a contentious spirit as we're discussing our differences of opinion. I will always resist the partisan politics that has paralyzed the Congress and polarized the nation. People run for public office for many different reasons, but I believe the only noble reason to run for public office is to lift people up. Not some of the people, not special interests, and certainly not personal gain, but all people who are in need of our service. I grew up in a legally segregated Jim Crow South, so I'm a living witness to what government can do to hold people down. But I knew at an early age that if I ever got the chance to lift people up, that's what I would spend my time doing, and that is why I am here. We all know that the path to wealth and the middle class has always been through home ownership. The equity in home ownership helps to send our kids to school, to start a business, and to prepare for stable retirement. Yet, when I came to county council, there was no housing committee, so I created one. After creating the committee, I sponsored the down payment and settlement help provisions for first-time home buyers. Then I met with Citibank, and they agreed to grant $150,000 to the program. Today, more than 4,000 Newcastle County families have benefited from down payment and settlement cost assistance. Louis J. Glickman, the widely known real estate investor, once said, the best investment on earth is earth. And I will continue to do everything within my power as a member of this council to remove every impediment to fair housing. Our inclusionary zoning has made Newcastle County a regional leader in affordable housing. When I came to Newcastle County, residents were driving around with bumper stickers saying, "Fund Newcastle County libraries." Since that time, we have built or remodeled 11 libraries, including 2 additional libraries in the city of Wilmington. A year ago, we added the $34 million Innovation Center on Route 9. And 2 weeks ago, we announced the $24 million facility coming to downtown Middletown. I look forward to working on new initiatives designed to ensure that we identify ways to help our citizens who fall victim to the devastating consequences of the opioid epidemic. 6 years ago, we budgeted $500,000 for the Heron Alert Program to educate citizens of the dangers of opioids. In May of 2016, our police department implemented the Hero Help Program. The goal of the Hero Help Program is to not depend on criminal arrest alone to combat addiction and the crime it causes. Instead, the Hero Help Program can provide a greater opportunity for those seeking treatment to overcome their addiction and prevent each individual from engaging in criminal activity to support their addiction. And as of last week, there have been 180 individuals screened into this program. I've learned from experience that today's problems are not necessarily solved with yesterday's solutions. The future demands more creativity from all of us, and I believe a better now is the foundation for a better tomorrow. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and may God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Hollins. Next, please come up, is Judge Herlihy and Ms. Lisa Diller.
When you take the oath of office, all of a sudden it becomes a very serious event, and you really do think about what you've committed to do and the people you're committed to serve. And I think that it's a great thing to be among your colleagues, family and friends, and it just reminds you that it is a serious occasion and that it's not something to be taken lightly. I really feel like, it's really an opportunity to continue the work that I'm doing, and I look forward to continuing to serve the 5th District.
It's a great honor to be here,
It's also always tough to follow Councilman Hollins. I'll just acknowledge that. My senior colleague, as he well knows. I just have to say that seeing this room filled with folks, it's just a reminder of the weight of the office. But I would also like to say that you don't get here without your friends and without your family. And, you know, in our household, politics has always played an important role in my husband's and my relationship. We actually did not get married until the Saturday after the general election in 1990. It wasn't a law that we couldn't get married, but it was a mutual decision. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, we have a second great love in our family, and that's basketball. So my daughter is playing basketball as a JV member of the Newark girls basketball squad. Go Yellow Jackets. So they are not here tonight. And I'd like to thank Sue Moore, who was the legislative aide for the 5th District for many years, 5 years, and has gone on to certainly bigger and better things. But I appreciate her being willing to be my witness tonight, because she has just been such a great support system and aid for the 5th District. Now, I know that this is a time for serious comments, but I'd just like to say, and quote, it's kind of a riff on a Councilman Cartier, I look forward tomorrow to going back to making sure those 1,800 miles of sewer keep working. And the other thing I'd like to say is that the folks who are here and our elected officials are great folks. We don't always agree, but I have never doubted their sincerity and their concern for their districts. I think Janet and I have been through sort of a number of battles, and we kind of have this joke of Rosie the Riveter is our little symbol. And I just have to thank you, Janet, for the picture of your foot in the Rosie the Riveter sock, the sock of victory that she sent me on Tuesday morning as we went to the polls. It's very rare that you get that kind of collegiality in any elected body. I think we have been really very bipartisan. Good ideas are good ideas, and I think we will continue that with our new members. So thank you, everyone, and it's good to be back.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Next, Judge Hurley, please, and David B. Carter.
You know, when you're taking oath of office and being reminded that the power comes from the people, and having been at that podium many, many times over the last 20 years, it's a wonderful feeling to know that you're now in this position where you will be able to serve the people that come through, bring the issue, participate, and it's why I ran, and it's what I'm excited to keep doing. I can't really do the people's work if the people don't stay engaged and tell me what work they need done the most. So I've heard a lot from them over the last few months. I will probably be randomly coming out and knocking on doors on big issues over time in my district, but I just really, really hope that they will stay engaged. I can't thank them enough for putting their trust in me. I would tell them that I'm going to continue to need their help, and for them to keep calling me, good, bad, and ugly. I need to hear it all, whether that's through social media or email or coming out to public meetings or just on the doorstep, because that's what government is all about.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, all of you who came here, as well as people throughout the county. This is kind of an interesting moment for me. Over the last 25 years, I can't count the number of times I've stood at this podium in a very different position. And many of you on council have very much listened to me for over the years and worked with me. Sometimes we've had those battles, and it's been a very wonderful experience. Some of those who supported me and some of my family members are here tonight, including my wife, Marjorie, and my mother, Sandy, who were here with me a moment ago. I thank all of you who came out, and them, especially Marjorie, who sacrificed so much while I was campaigning for this office. Very few dinners together over the last few months. It's a real lesson in the sacrifice of office. And my mother, who instilled deeply in me the sense of serving others. As a role model for many, many years, doing volunteer work endlessly, and also serving others as a nurse for many years. And finally, I want to thank the members of my campaign team who are here. I don't want to take the time to call you out by name, but I wouldn't be here without you, and I thank you so much for trusting me. And finally, I really, really want to thank all of the residents of the 6th Council District who put their trust in me to serve them. As I assume the role of council, I see in the 6th District an area that is changing and will continue to experience unprecedented change with the rate of development that we're seeing in the area. I see the need to accept the change while still meeting very drastically increasing community service needs that come with this change. We have to embrace the change, celebrate all the benefits that come with it, and address the concerns that arise with it. To do this, I expect I will be doing things differently, at least differently than have occurred in the past in the district. I will be collaborating to the greatest extent I possibly can with our municipalities. We haven't done that as well as we could have down in the southern part of the county, and I want to make that a really big issue that I can work on because I think it benefits us all to work together. I want to work really hard to plan the services that all this growth demands. I'm very happy to know that the county executive and members of council are already moving forward with the library that we desperately need. We are moving forward, I hope, with the paramedic unit, and I will continue to work towards trying to get a park down there, and I will just work endlessly and tirelessly to try and get those done down in the district where we need them the most. Newcastle County must also become a much bigger partner and a much bigger player in farmland preservation and open space protection. We have needs countywide, and particularly in the 6th District, where we have the largest remaining area of our rural districts and farming base. That isn't to say that we need a new program, but we do need to better figure out how to cooperate with our state partners. And I will be working hard on that. I already have been working on that and writing quite a few papers and some ideas for ordinances that I'll be sharing probably by January or February with council to get their ideas to make it fit countywide. I think we really need to think about sustainability and a renewable energy plan, community-based renewable energy plan for Newcastle County. I think we could start with some of the things like the new property assessed clean energy legislation that was passed by the General Assembly last year. As one place to get going, and also looking at some code changes that allow community renewable energy, which is much more cost effective and efficient than individual homes. That could possibly be done in open space and other things with code changes, but something we need to move forward with. And we really do need to find ways to provide affordable housing for our most vulnerable citizens. And it's been really a struggle. Particularly under the UDC south of the canal. We have not had much success. There was an effort tried with good faith effort a few years ago that wasn't as successful, but I hope through the intense planning efforts that are underway now that this will be part of it, and I will press to do that. I think the other thing that I will change is that I will be very vigorous in the way that we approach the issues for the 6th District and the things that I bring to council. We need to do it based on evidence and data. We simply do not have the resources to do it any other way, and we just have to be able to have that data to justify everything that we do. Particularly in my district that has increased in population size and complexity, I think we need to work really hard at them. So in recent weeks, I've spent a lot of time looking at how to transition. You know, many of you know I've been a community advocate for many, many years, and what we do as an advocate is very different than what we do when we govern. And governing is much more about building the relationships, about collaboration, about building shared visions. And I really look forward, so many of you that I've known for so many years, to be able to try and do that and share many of the ideas, to test some of the new ideas that I have, and to hear all of your ideas. So I thank everyone for coming out and for this opportunity to serve the residents, to be working on the other side of this podium, listening to the public that I do serve. And with that, I think I only have one thing to say, and that's now it's time, let's get to work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilman Carter. Next, in closing, I would like to share with you a statement made by Senator Tom Carper last Tuesday after the announcement he won his fourth term in the U.S. Senate. He said, "I believe most Americans want a country whose leaders are truthful, who don't believe that they or anybody else are above the law, leaders that have a heart of a servant, and who lead by their example while having the courage to stay out of step when everyone is marching to the wrong tune. Let's pass on a nation whose leaders build bridges, not walls, who unite people, not divide them, leaders who are purveyors of hope, not hate, who don't build themselves up by tearing other people down, the heart of a servant, lead by example, the courage to stay out of step when everyone is marching to the wrong tune, unite, build bridges, build others up, lead with hope. May we all consider our senior senator's wise words while leading Newcastle County Council into the future and embrace that heart of a servant. Congratulations to those newly elected and re-elected council members. Can we give all council members a round of applause?